All right, so here we go. Q&A, as we just talked about automation, showed you what we were doing. So make sure that if you did not catch that video, that you catch it on our YouTube channel or in our Facebook group. Okay, who's ready for questions?
Okay, let's go back up. We had one. I know that Vivian had one that, let's see. Can you set up automations on the class themes topics? For example, if I'm doing a class on EOs and another one on thieves, the automation will be set up with a link to register for the classes that they're interested in attending. Is that in your member area, Bet?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that if I set it up, because right now I'm doing everything on Facebook, and with the algorithms, nobody's seeing anything. And so if I set up a calendar of monthly classes, could I possibly send that on an email and then have the link attached to each of the classes? So if they click on thieves, they will automatically receive the emails based on that.
Yes. So when you're in there in that email, just like, so let's say it was a thieves class that linked to a sway or something. So that's how you were going to get the information. So that you would link that button to whatever the sway link was. So instead of doing that, if you're going to have a campaign, you're going to create the automation that is to start that campaign. And then that automation link, once that's created, the little lightning bolts up in the email, you can, once you have that button that says what a thieves class or more info on thieves, you're going to grab the lightning bolt, pick your thieves campaign, put that in there to the button, and then you're good to go. It'll automatically start if they hit it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then just since I'm on, let me ask you this. So basically it's a the way I wrote it down as you guys were talking is a landing page to campaign to up to another campaign, removing the previous campaign.
Yep.
So it's almost like a add delete type of mentality.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like having a virtual assistant in your back end that is doing all these extra little steps for you. And
okay, cool.
And making sure for myself personally, I would look and recognize the areas that this would be most helpful. So Sarah and I were talking about how we would want to set up an automation so that anybody who has a certain tag, let's say they were my prospects, they were in a candle freebie, they were in a different whatever, maybe it's the spring cleaning challenge. All of those tags would have an automation that if they ever got the tag, for myself personally, Living Well Tribe, which means that they became a member in my organization, that it immediately would take all of those other tags off of them. So that is kind of a great way to let's use this whole automation thing so that I don't have my team with 50,000 tags from before they actually became a team, part of my team. Does that make sense? So that's another area where you could use automations.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that's what I'm going to use them mostly for until you really get into it. The top two things that I'm going to really focus on is changing campaigns, being able to not lose them. Because like you guys have all known before, my follow-up, it really needs help. I'm getting better. I am getting better. But how many times have you picked up a prospect and they've gone through a 1 or 2 email series and then they're done? Because, and it is on my end, I maybe drop the ball and don't continue the follow-up, like a long-term campaign for prospects that maybe you know that right away the likelihood of someone jumping right in, it's not very likely. So how many leads and prospects do we lose out on because of me dropping the ball and not having the continued just touching base with them? So that it's really cool. I'm stoked.
The fortune is in the follow-up. I think that is absolutely truth. And Specifically, right now, Sarah and I both, our touch point past these two email campaigns, the candle follow-up, the get to know me, whatever it may be, whether it was attached to the candle or it was attached to the simple start, is let's start sending you tips, right? That may not always be the case that that's how we are going to route these prospects to keep in their inbox. Maybe eventually we will create this amazing campaign that is a year long where they're going to continue to get to us unless they decide they're sick of us and opt out. Could it happen? Sure. The tip thing sounds a little bit easier to me. It continue showing up in their inbox, but okay. So we had another question. Do you happen to know if I have a new member campaign, attach this as an automation at different points or campaigns within GetOiling, can I make sure that a specific person only receives this campaign once, adding a tag perhaps?
If you new member campaign.
So in my head, where an automation would work is that if they are opted into a campaign if they're ever added into a campaign, in my head, this is what whether this is true or not. If they are in a campaign and all of a sudden they are put into another one by opting in, there would be somewhere that you would want that automation that will take them out of that first campaign. Does that make sense? So you're not having that double up. It's kind of the thought process behind this candle follow-up is that we want them taken out so they don't continue to get, hey, did you check out this information when they're already starting on the next campaign. So I would say, yes, it's just making sure that you have your mind wrapped around, okay, so they're in this one. Where is that trigger that's going to take them out of it and put them in the next one? That's where you need to make sure that you have, right, Sarah? If we're talking about it correctly.
Mhm.
So doable, I would say yes. And it could be from a tag. Oh, you guys, this is so fun. This is so fun thinking about all of the things that we can do. Don't let it be
So,
overwhelming. Oh,
so Janelle, what you just said then makes sense in why you added you mentioned that on the second or even third email, you would attach a button for the previous campaign before moving them on to the next one,
correct. And
correct?
that's the
Okay.
automation we want to make sure we have, because I want to make sure they get out of that first campaign, that it stops before they start getting that second one. That's how all the
And-
cool kids are doing it. I've been in plenty of freebies and funnels, and I mean, they have all automations in place. So that's all that GetOiling has provided us with a huge, huge resource by putting this in. And I know, oh crap, it's another thing that I have to learn. It's another thing I have to do, but this one is really important.
Would you mind if I ask something else? You mentioned the plans. So do you happen to know how many are included in whatever plans, and
Yeah.
what plan do we actually need to have in order to have full
Yeah.
access?
So the basic plan has 10 automations, which is why we highly recommend that you think out these automations fully and completely before but you can always delete them. Like if you have 10 and you're like, okay, well, I'm not using this one, then you can always delete it and add another one in. Go ahead, Sarah.
There's an option to make it inactive.
Oh,
So if you
perfect.
build it so you wouldn't have to delete it completely. There is an option.
Fantastic. I don't know. You guys should really go into Grow Online with GetOiling and tell Greg, thank you for making things be able to be inactive. I will guess that that is coming for many different options in the site. I don't know how many of you before have made a class and you're like, okay, I'm to my limit, but I can't either delete it or whatever. So I'm going to assume that that is why he did that here and that will be coming. That's cool. That is so good. You need to go over there, all of you, and put that in there. I saw that there's an inactive for the whatever we're talking, the automations. Please do that for all the things. Okay. Sorry. Get real excited.
was going to look here.
So the middle plan is 100. I have it pulled up, sorry.
Okay.
And the is 100 automations, and then the premier, the top level is 500 automations. So
Do you mind sharing what the price points are for those?
yes, I can actually just share the screen really quick for you. The basic plan is $29 a month. The premium plan is $49, and then the top level, which is the pro, so I said it wrong before, I'm sorry, is $99 a month. I will tell you that people who have gotten in this and are starting to use it, I would say a lot of them are probably in this middle button. But you have to figure out obviously what works for you. But if you ever go to just getoiling.com/pricing, this shows all of the features that are included, how many are included at different levels, and all of that kind of stuff. I always think that there is absolutely no reason to move up if you are not fully utilizing what you already have with whatever plan you're on. But yes. And Sarah just shared in the chat, Greg did a walkthrough of automations where he actually explained it. I don't know if you've caught that yet. It's pretty short, and it's just really another layer of wrapping your mind around what automations are. It's really, really good. Okay. So this is another comment. This is about something else, but as a beginner, I'm not sure how to tag people. I've downloaded a bunch of Grow Workspace campaigns, have YL Customer Delight, and also Simple Grace Collective. Any ideas?
Are you just talking about just generally like what tags work best, or what tags
And you
kind
can
of
come
the
off
different
of mute.
categories of the tags?
Yeah, you can totally come off of mute. If you
Sorry.
you're fine.
Yeah, I'm so new. I don't even know how to organize my tags. So,
So for me, I have a member's tag. So anybody that's a member, they get the tag. I have a prospect tag. Any way that any prospect gets into my email list, I want to know how they got there. So if you have a landing page that is the candle freebie, I want to know that they contacted me because of the candle freebie. So I have a tag that says candle freebie prospect. Just think to yourself on the ways that you want to organize your contacts. That is what tags are all about. It is the most fantastic way to organize all of the people that are in your email list. Let me look at some other here that
thank you so much.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We always say it that tags are one of the most important parts of utilizing GetOiling correctly. Because let's say you want to mass email your team, having that team specific tag, you just have to grab that tag. So when you're filtering, I'm not sure what Sarah's grabbing.
I was just looking through mine. And that's exactly what it is. It's they're either my team member or they are a prospect. And you can have one large prospect tag that you can tag them in. And you can have you can tag them as many times as you want. So, I have a personally enrolled tag. I have, my Rise Above member tag. I have a prospect tag, tips tag, anybody that I want to get get the newsletter, because that way, when you're doing things, you just need to remember that is how you organize, because you have quite a few people. The only way to organize them and GetOiling is with a tag. If they're in there floating around with no tag, unless you would search for their name, there's really no way to get back to them. So that's how it's just a way to organize really, really well.
Would you do brand partner then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have customers. So,
Yep.
all right, gotcha. I'm on with you now. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. It's just organization. That's how GetOiling stays organized. It's
And
just
so
that.
just a tip, if you are in your GetOiling and you click on manage, that is going to pop up everybody that is in your contacts. So then you can hit filter. And then that's where you could filter by a tag if you want to find someone specifically that way. There's all these different tags that will come up like that. And if I hit filter, then it's going to pop every single person that has that tag. And then from there, I can do different things with it. I'm just going to be really cautious because there's other people. Oh,
So
forget
just-
that part.
So just make sure on your landing pages, you always tag them. However, they're getting into your system, into the, into your list. That first contact, that touch point needs to have a tag.
Yeah. And I think that the best thing about it is because let's say you start and you have a landing page, you have a freebie that you're offering people, but maybe you're like, I don't have a campaign to go with it. As long as you have a tag, you can always come back to that tag and then add a campaign. You can send them an email, all of that kind of stuff. So it is your first layer of making sure that you are doing that. When you are uploading your team list into GetOiling for the first time, add that tag, at least one tag to make sure that you will always have that. You can always edit them. You can always, let's say you want to re-import everybody who's on loyalty rewards. You can download that list from Young Living and put that into GetOiling, and it's going to update that tag to put on everybody that's there without taking the other one off. You can take the other one off if you want to, but also like Sarah said, personally enrolled, if you want to put that tag, it's very easy to do that with just a CSV file that you
Yeah. Do you recommend doing that like every so often even?
So you can. I
To keep
think
it up to date, you have to. If
Yeah,
you want to keep it up to date, because it changes all the time. So I mean, if you're gonna do, loyalty rewards, if you want that as a group to only contact those people, that needs to be done monthly because, I mean, people change all the time. So
Thank you
It
so
doesn't-
much, y'all.
yeah, it doesn't automatically do that, unfortunately. But
I'm so pumped about automation. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
the key is just organizing your steps, or organizing the steps.
Yep. And someone said that, make a list of it, make a flow, take some time, write a checklist of, let's say, here's where people are starting in this flow. Now, here is how I want to make different steps to get them there. And then at each place, you can say, okay, do I need a trigger here? What is that trigger? If I want people to get in this instead of this, so then, okay, yeah, I need to take them out of this to get them in this and stuff like that. Write it out. Again, there is absolutely no rush. You guys have all survived with GetOiling for however long without automations. Just take your time with it. Make it what you need instead of making it be overwhelming. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. But what I will tell you is Sarah and I probably will go back and record just the steps of how we would add something to the Candle freebie follow-up campaign, stuff like that. Here's one thing, if you do not have a get to know me campaign, because maybe you haven't purchased our course that has it in there, you will have to realize that if you're going to want to take them out of it and put it into something, you'll have to have another campaign in place, just so you know. For those of you who do have the Get to Know Me campaign, we can tell you exactly what we took out to make it more generic for all prospects, because our Get to Know Me campaign that is just for all prospects, not just for Simple Start, is going to be able to be used for any landing page, any freebie that we are going to offer going forward.
Yeah, which is really cool. So anything, any way that they're going to get in from now till whenever, we now have a way to pop them into our Get to Know Me, which is just another touch point. Like I said, it's me not dropping the ball. I would, like I said, I would love to think that I'm cool enough to follow up manually with everybody, but just know myself better than that. This makes it easier. So.
Yep. I'm also just going to throw this tip out there. I don't know if it has anything to do with automations or not. One thing that we and Sarah and I have really realized in our journey with GetOiling, with trying to put systems in place, is that when we focus so hard on those systems, do you know what got missed? Showing up in our teams, doing the IPAs. We know that systems are important, and I am not going to tell you that you shouldn't work on them and get them in place, but also I would just like to offer some advice as people who have gone through this. Those systems and getting those in place cannot trump the actual work, the actual income producing activities. Systems are going to make your life easier, but if you are not actually showing up with your team, if you are not showing up with your prospects, all of this other stuff that is helpful in the long run for your business is not going to make a bit of difference. You're probably going to spend a lot of money and you're going to have nobody going into these things. And so Sarah and I get hit in the face with that. And I think it's something that just needs to be said as a friendly reminder of people who are going through this with you. Don't be so focused on all of these other things that you're not showing up.
Yeah. Sean said, at what layer in the flow do you want to actually talk to them? I mean, I want to talk to them right away. And I think in the how we have it set up, when they're contacting me to grab the Simple Start information, that first email gives them the information. And then when they get into the Simple Start right away, there is a, get a hold of me now and we can talk more. That, that PDF, which we didn't go through, is beautiful. It's wonderful. It is so much information for them to be able to start this natural living lifestyle. So this was just the email series. And in the email series, every email prompts them to, please respond back. But it is also, it's also worked into that Simple Start PDF where they can get a hold of us and contact. So, I mean, I would say, what layer in the flow, if you have something in every single layer, to just continually ask them to, have some follow-up, that's what we're looking for. And that's what, I might not be very good at remembering, but this, like for me in my head, is a prompt for me to remember that they're, that they're still getting, that they're going through. So that's, as Janelle said, to not forget about.
So another thing that I was just thinking about though too, and Sarah and I had talked about this and I forgot. So if you're thinking about when you're getting them to the end of whatever email campaign, another place is if you have the brand partner vault, you could actually put a button in there so they don't have to sign up again, right? They will have to they have to set a password, but they actually could click that and head to your prospect vault with a ton of more information.
We do have that built in. We did it. It's in there. The new one we did, but
So just keep that in mind. That's another place, more information that they can be sent to if you have that. Okay, so I'm going to challenge all of you. I'd like to see either a show of hands or a chat. How many of you have been so focused on your GetOiling account that maybe you forgot to do some other stuff? And maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Love it. Thanks for being honest. Show up. So Sarah and I, we actually yesterday had a challenge with each other that we have challenged each other to go live in our group 3 times a week. I'll be really honest, I started my group. I was in there every single day going live, educating about something, not just putting a post in because it's easier, just showing my face. And I got away from that. And I'm thankful that my team hasn't just completely disappeared. I'm showing up, but not really showing up. I'm being lazy. And so yesterday I was talking to Sarah and I just said, I I need to start putting my face back in my group, whatever it may be, and saving the recordings and then putting them in my member vault. Just so you know, let's do that too. But that is, I'm going to challenge all of you, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's just going live once in your group or recording it, putting that in your member vault. I'm going to challenge you guys to do that. Sarah and I very easily said, what can we do that is simple, that isn't going to take us a million years to plan out? And she's like, well, just grab the Life Steps app. Let's just go in there and find a topic that we want to talk about and split it up into however many days, 5 minutes each. Hey, I'm starting a thing. This is a 5-minute chat with Janelle that I want to share something with you. And so that's what Sarah and I both committed to doing. We did our first video yesterday, and we are going to continue with that. Our goal is three times a week, but we're gonna challenge you just 1 time a week. How's that sound? And some of you are probably like, dude, I'm already doing it. You're weird. How come you're not working your business?
Seasons.
Yeah. So for those of you, so Vivian asked, how do you do the recordings in your group and then add them to the vault? Easiest way to do that is after you've done your live in your Facebook group, save your video and then upload that to your YouTube channel. YouTube is free. Upload that to it, and then you'll have the URL to stick into your member vault on GetOiling. And if you have Vimeo, you can do it that same way, but it's the easiest way to do it.
You could also
Hopefully
share
down the
your
line,
Facebook
we
group.
won't. What's that?
You could also share the link to your Facebook video.
You could.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
If you wanted
You have
super
to take those extra steps. Yeah. Wow, look at you. Myrna, you're already ahead of the game. She said, I am showing up and connecting through Facebook, doing lives, and just started 5-minute mini classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and haven't spent time on GetOiling. Need to get back into Go. So that's like the opposite of it, but it's so true, right? We have to find, I hate the word balance, and I will never use that word if I possibly can, but we have to find the harmony in our business to utilize the tools that we have, that we've invested in, but still just remembering what we're doing. What are we doing? Well, of course, we want to educate our teams. We want to show up. We want them to know that we are there for them and helping them. And Myrna, that is so great. That's awesome. I'm going to challenge you guys. Myrna's doing that. God laid that on my heart yesterday for Sarah and I both to do that. I think that this is something specific for us who are going to listen to this, is that God is telling us to show up. Remember that we need to show up. So there's some confirmation. That's so good. I think it's really cool that it was specific Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5-minute classes.
I was just gonna say, that is freaky weird, Myrna, that you
Providence. There we go.
Can I just share quick?
Yes.
So I got this idea actually from a Young Living executive boost biz call. Someone else was doing it. But Monday, make it Monday. So it's DIYs. Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday. Lifestyle Friday. So I'm encouraging some of my team to help with the DIYs, make it Monday, and they're excited to do it, just a few of them. But yeah, so I'm excited about it and it's going well. My problem is I got to get back to GetOiling because yeah, so it's hard to do it all. But anyway, I'm excited about that and trying to grow on Instagram. So there's lots on the go. It's busy. You guys are amazing. And thanks for getting me back into I got to get going on GetOiling and
Myrna,
my member vault. And
you are the best cheerleader ever. I like that. Make it Monday, Wellness Wednesday, Lifestyle Friday. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry, guys. I keep asking questions.
That's what.
So one of the things I started doing these weekly classes in my Facebook group, I did, bear with me as I go. I did Essential Mondays where I'm gonna be, the spotlight is on the core 3, what I call the essential oils of thieves and CBD. Then I did Topic Tuesdays where I'm focusing on hormones, skin, sleep, whatever. I also have a Wellness Wednesdays theme Thursdays where I'm going like kids, babies, animals, etc. And then fun Fridays is when I'm doing the DIYs. So now that I'm listening to you doing the whole 5-minute thing, what I tend to talk a lot because I just go from one thing to another. So what benefit would you find then now that I'm listening to you guys talking about the 5-minute things? There's no way in heck I can get anything across in 5 minutes because I've already been talking for 3 minutes and haven't gotten to my point. So what is the benefit from somebody that's listening in as far as sitting in from, in a half an hour to 45-minute class versus the 5-minute things? Should I continue doing these classes for anybody that's interested and just add on those little 5-minute, well, in my case, probably 15-minute blitz? That's question number one. The other question that I had, as you mentioned, taking the link from Facebook of the classes that you do and putting them on YouTube or video and then adding them to GetOiling. Can you do the same with Zoom? That way you can share screen if you have any images to share. And if so, how? And the reason I asked the how is because anytime I've done that and I want to share the Zoom clip or the video onto my Facebook group, it doesn't show any images. It just shows a link and people are not really motivated into clicking anything, or it gets lost in, you know what I mean? They don't have that visual. Sorry, lots of questions.
About your first one with the 5-minute versus a longer video. I will tell you that me personally, I do not listen to a super long video. I just don't. And I think it, like, just because it's just so busy. I mean, if it's something that I'm super interested in, I think being able to give those short tidbits, you're gonna see more. You're gonna get more out of that. I'm not saying you can't do the long ones. I mean, once a week we do, an hour class. But I think all the time, doing that all the time, people like they just don't have the. And like I said, it's me, my personal view, as a lot of people just don't tune in to those to the long videos and stick it out.
I think one of the things is some of us are still in it. We came in a season where we were constantly connected, watching things, listening to things, jumping on Zooms, doing all of this stuff. Now, is it still working for people to get them to do it? Yes, it is. But I do see I see a shift in people want great info, short time, and then you can always give them the option. I know that, Vivian, you are part of Grow Workspace. You can always give them that extra link and say, hey, I'm just covering the basics on this. If you want more information, you can click here. You'll be surprised that people will click on it and you might just not know that they're doing it. But I also want to say that what works for you in your business, that's amazing. But also pay attention enough to realize that sometimes we do need to make changes. What I did 2 years ago, where I could get people to sit for 30 minutes, 45 minutes and listen to me speak, that season is no longer here for my team. And if I can do 5 minutes and put my face out there, give them some great info to take away from it, good enough. Provide them with a way to get more if they need it. I think sometimes what we do is we tend to over educate, which is overwhelming to people.
And I think too, if you circle that back to duplication, if you're looking at your team members that are watching you and watching what you're doing, are they looking at you thinking, man, I could never do that. I would never be able to do that. And that is where a lot of the magic in this business is, you simplifying it. And if people look at you and say, man, I could do that. I could talk for 5 minutes and then give more information in a sway, or give more information if they want it, or give more information to life steps. And I think it comes down to also, for myself, being very conscious of my time too. Putting a whole bunch of time into member education, and, you know, creating all of the things and doing that sometimes isn't the best use of my time either. So, I mean, there's like Janelle said it, you know, if it's working for you and you're seeing people show up.
It's not working.
Okay. So then give it a try, shorten those up, tell yourself, and I know it's hard too, because yesterday I did my first video in a little while and it was 7 minutes and I felt like, man, I just jabbered. Well, people just really get in there, get what, you know, the super important things, give yourself 5 minutes and tell yourself you cannot go over 5 minutes. It's illegal. Don't do it. And then do it for a while and see which, you know, make that change.
We also, we want to be so aware of, you guys, we've been in this for 3 years. Like, if you've been in it for any amount of time, what works for her might not work for her. What's worked for her might not work for me. But I just had this talk with my son. I asked him, and he's 16 and he knew. I'm like, what is the definition of insanity? And he said, doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. And I said, absolutely. It's okay to change. It's okay to shift and say, you know what, I'm going to commit to this, Sarah. This is what we did. We're going to commit to this for, I think we said 90 days, right? 60, whatever it was, 90 days. That's it. Sarah, we're committed 90 days. 90 days of showing up 3 times a week with a 5-minute little note thing that we have. And if we get to the end of that 90 days and we're not seeing the results, then we're going to reassess and we're going to change it. But we also know in this, we've been understanding the business partner thing. There is a cycle of 90 days. It's usually not 30. It's usually not 60. It's usually 90 days that things change and habits are formed and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't know. This is so encouraging to hear you guys all talk about this. Don't get so stuck in stuff that you won't change, but don't run after this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. Commit to something. See if it works for 90 days. Move on if it doesn't. Sorry. I hope you know that I'm preaching at myself.
Are you planning on doing anything other than those 5-minute videos? And if so, what else do you do?
So I have leaders personally that are providing content. We talk, we plan out our month. And so there is always posts that are going in there regardless of this stuff. This is just something I as a leader have committed to doing myself.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Sarah, I've cut you off like 50 times. What were you going to say?
I don't think I was going to. Oh, I was going to say, yesterday, was it on the USA page? Where was it? Where Sarah Bjorgard was. Yesterday, there was a training that Sarah did. It was part of the weekly work or as part of the Valor.
It's on the Young Living USA page. It's the weekly dose of valor.
Okay. Watch that and listen to Sarah. She starts out a little bit slow, but a million times over, that is worth the watch. Go listen to her, take it. We have 6 weeks to convention, and she had a challenge for a 6-week push. And it was amazing. Her words were amazing. If you do not walk away from that feeling completely inspired to really get back into this and run with your team, run with the cross team, watch it. It was so good. They even said it was awesome. She's so good. It was really, really great. Okay, do we have any more questions?
That's amazing.
Yep, that's cool, Myrna. Okay, I think we'll end this for today. We'll come back next Tuesday, and you guys, if you ever have anything that you want us to touch on, please let us know. We're always looking for ideas to topics to talk about. So thank you everybody for being here, and we will get this recording. It will go into our YouTube channel and in our group.
And the freebie, the candle follow-up campaign will be in there this afternoon. We just have to do one. There will be no automations built into it because we are going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to probably make another video. So that's with it so people can understand it. just because we might have been a little confusing on our training today, or I might have. So, okay, stopping recording.